Thanks for joining us today to discuss life and godliness with Rick and Angela Carter. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, email us at cartersforhope@gmail.com. That's Carters, the number 4, hope@gmail.com. Any questions you have, we'll discuss in future episodes. Right now, sit back and let's join in on the conversation. Well, good day here in Stratford, Texas again. And we are in the West Texas wind.
And lots of it.
It's been really windy. It's normally windy out in West Texas in the Panhandle. But anyway, the good news about being in the Panhandle, if you've never been in the Panhandle, is that there are a lot of feedlots.
Oh my goodness.
And so there's one not too far, just over the
south of town.
And it is
ripe
at certain times of the day.
And
the one thing about the wind that's good is if it's blowing the right direction,
yeah,
you don't smell the feedlot.
Like today we have a north wind, so we don't smell
so that's good. It's blowing away.
Yeah.
But if it's been
yesterday,
a really warm day,
or the day before,
this is gross, but it's true.
It's gross.
If it's been a really warm day, in the evening, if the wind's not blowing, a foggy, misty
gross
stuff comes through town, and it is the feedlot. It is
disgusting.
Nasty. Yeah. So anyway, but that is West Texas right there.
Yeah.
And there's towns that are worse than Stratford about that too.
Eder, Cactus.
Yeah.
Because they also have
they have a
meat
slaughterhouse
processing plant
I'm
there.
thinking Hereford too. Hereford's really bad about it.
Hereford has a lot, yeah.
Anyway, but, well, that's not our topic today.
The stinkiness of the Panhandle.
Stinkiness of the Panhandle. And so actually what we're going to talk about today is helping your hurting family. Helping your hurting family. And the topic has to do with, how do you help? How do you minister to particularly maybe parents, siblings, as they're going through major life health issues and things like that? And how do you help them during those times, especially maybe as we talk about like end of life type hurts and conflicts, because there's so many complications that arise with that. One,
and emotions
and all, and past and history and all those things. But like, for instance, one complication is life schedule and place, right? So a lot of times you're not nearby. That's not, you don't live there, and so you have the distance issue. I'm thinking, we've been very blessed the last couple of weeks because as Angela's mom has gone through some major things dealing with cancer, and she's kind of at the beginning, but it was already late stage cancer. So we're still waiting to find out what kind of treatments that they're even going to be able to do. There's a lot of complications with that, but I think also, for instance, of Brother Wayne Grissom, who's a missionary from our church, his parents have already passed away. His brother has had some major health issues, and they basically put him on hospice. Well, Brother Grissom's over in England. And how do you help during times like that? And so he came back and has been with him for a number of weeks. But, you only have so much ability to not be where you are responsible to be, right? I mean, that's one of the things for us. Thankfully, we had a couple weeks here where we had some down weeks. We did cancel one Sunday meeting, but we had other requests that were closer to where we're at. So I did preach on Sunday, but
we didn't have a week-long meeting scheduled.
We didn't have
just
a week-long meeting. Yes.
Which you always look back and you're like, okay, the Lord knew this was going to take place, so He knew in our schedule when we needed what.
Right, and I know that a lot of times people will say, well, you don't have to be, your wife doesn't necessarily have to be to every meeting, and that's true, and that's something we were discussing as to how we're going to manage that. But also, there's also other factors than just she doesn't have to be with me. because she has to stay somewhere,
And we don't have a second car.
I have a second car. We don't have, so
We have
there's-
one house that goes with us.
right. So there's complications
Yeah.
both ways. We're actually going to be back this way already because we're coming back here for
In a couple of weeks.
conference in a
Mhm.
couple of weeks already, and so but our major, our big national conference that we do every year is just in a couple of weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, I think, and so there's lots of stuff she does that
Nobody else
does, and nobody else knows how to do, and so there's lots of things and factors going into those type of things. So it's just and that's not unique to us. That's normal. Everyone has life that they're doing somewhere, and then they have maybe parents who are off somewhere in a distant place, and they have to minister to them. So location and time, being able to take time away from your life and your ministry or your job. Sometimes that's the other issue. It's not just it's and not that ministry isn't a career, but sometimes it's can be at times flexible for things like this, but sometimes people don't have that flexibility. And then you've got other complications. You've got the family complications because everyone's got family. This is a truism that Angela and I have learned, right? And everyone has family means everyone has family they hope no one finds out they're related to. And B, everyone has family that during times of crisis decide that's the perfect time to cause problems. It's like, I don't understand that. Why?
In your most vulnerable emotional state.
Yeah. And it's kind of this, I don't know. It's like they've been waiting. They've just been waiting for the opportunity.
I always say, though, that's when they show their real colors. They may pretend to your face most of the other time, but when you're in the middle of a crisis or if you're in the middle of an emotional time, and that's when they choose to do that, that's who they really are.
And then when someone else is hurting, they try and make it about them.
Yeah.
Yep. And that it's kind of crazy.
It's annoying.
It's annoying. It's crazy. It's D, all of the above. So what?
Maybe I should make a survey about that.
Oh, Angela, did you see the survey that Angela made? She's been taunting me. She put up, she did get the Christmas song thing right, at least, and then she put this survey out because I think it's passive aggressiveness.
And thank you, all of you who filled it out.
Oh, were you going to give results?
Oh, I can, but let's finish talking.
Did you assemble results?
No.
Oh, okay. So next podcast we'll give results from the survey, so just to see where people were overall. All right, so where were we?
Family being
family. So there's complications there. Then the third major area of complications is actually dealing with the health issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's complicated. And I think we mentioned last time just about the frustration with doctors and process and slowness and just all of the medical side of things and the kind of chaos and confusion, that's present in all of that. And then the fourth thing that I think causes problems is just your loved one that you see hurting and the pain they're going through and the struggle they are having. And thankfully for us, Angela's mom is saved. And so there's a weight removed for that,
right.
And she's even over the last few weeks talked to us about how, hey, I know no matter what, I'm ready. I know I'm going to heaven. I know I'm saved. And that is a comfort to us. It's a comfort to her. But also, I understand that if that wasn't the case, that would be a great hardship and burden to be able to have to deal with as you're trying to help them with the physical, knowing that the spiritual is so much significant at that moment.
Right.
And thankfully for Brother Grissom, I mentioned a minute ago, his brother had made a profession of faith. And so praise the Lord for that. So anyway, those four areas I think are the biggest spots where, there's like problems. So
Struggles,
you
yeah.
think of anything else or
No, I
add
think that
anything to that?
no, that's pretty much. Well, and then I would say maybe the fifth area is just your own emotions in
Okay.
the mix.
Yeah, certainly. You have to come to
Because
terms.
you have to balance all of those areas plus your emotions at the same time. So that's kind of where the
Yeah, because depending on the situation, if it is maybe a terminal diagnosis at some point, there's the anticipatory grief
mm-hmm.
that you go through. And that's like with Angela's mom, when we went to the doctor, they said if she doesn't get treatment, she has less than 2 months. If she does get treatment, she may have up to 11. And that's with treatment. And the type of cancer she has, they said it generally responds quickly to chemo, and then it comes back aggressively, and there's,
when it comes back,
and it will come back and that type of thing.
So,
so the thing is that even if treatment goes well, there's still that anticipatory grief within the next year,
mm-hmm.
According to the doctors. Now she could defy expectations. That's obviously a possibility.
The Lord can do whatever he wants.
The Lord can do anything he wants, but there's still that preparatory emotional preparation that takes place that says, it's not today, but
right,
it won't be too long in the future.
Right.
And then along with that emotional side of things, you also have the history of emotions with family.
Sure.
If there's unresolved conflicts, if there's frustrations between family, if there's just personality issues and various different things like that. Not that I'm saying there are here, but
sure,
just generally speaking,
those are all factors.
Are all factors for most people, and the complications of that, because you want to be kind and compassionate and helpful.
Right.
You don't want to just make this all right, let's rehash every conflict we've ever had type, every unresolved issue we've ever had. But then at the same time, it's sometimes is an opportunity to resolve some unresolved issues.
Sure.
That would otherwise linger,
unsaid.
Yeah. But you have to be cautious in that. So there is a lot of emotional connections and problems with that.
Right. And I think also just reminding yourself that not everybody controls their emotions. Not everybody responds properly in times like this. And so not taking things personal or holding on to those in this emotional state. Those are all big things, that
push this away.
Sorry. Those are all big things, that people have to keep in mind.
Yeah. Being the bigger person in the situations.
Sure. How about just being spiritual?
I
like that term better than bigger.
I don't understand why.
Wow.
That's okay.
It's the new code word. I am a much more spiritual person than you.
I'm quite righteous. The righteous are made fat, and I'm righteous.
Wow. Anyway.
But
seriously, I mean, all goofiness aside, it is true though, because like we said in those earlier points, sometimes family doesn't, or even outsiders, doesn't have to be just family, but sometimes they're just stupid in times like this, and they say stupid things, and they let their emotions go to stupid places. And if you aren't mindful of that, and you don't take care of your own emotional state and mental state, then you can allow that to create bitterness and all kinds of other things, unforgiveness and all that, in times like these.
So let me throw a last thought in on complications or difficulties in this processes or times is boredom.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're in a hospital,
there's nothing to do.
Or when you're not at your home, you're in someone else's home, even if it's your family's, there's just a lot of downtime. And fortunately for Angela and I, we carry our home with us, and we have
work.
We have work. We have projects to do.
Books,
and
we have.
So I've kept Angela during her downtime, I've kept her busy,
Mhm.
which I feel like has been helpful too for
It's
you
been a good
emotionally because it's
distraction.
distraction,
Yeah.
right? So, and it's not busy work distraction as in like a crossword puzzle or something like that,
Right.
where there's really no point to it. But not to say that that can't be helpful during those times, having just those mental breaks, but something to do is helpful because otherwise your mind goes to places it shouldn't. And
Hmm.
I'm not talking about sinful behaviors necessarily, just
But dwells on,
dwells on the destructive thoughts, right?
yeah,
The
negative
anxieties, the
words or the
negativity, the conflicts.
past or the whatever. Yeah.
Right. So boredom can be a real conflict problem during times like that.
Hmm.
So let's kind of move then into a more constructive, instead of talking just about the problem side of it, let's talk about some of the solution side in how you help a family member during times like this. And I think that one of the things definitely is communication.
Hmm.
And I don't just mean in presence, because it's not going to maybe always be possible to be present all the
Right.
time, right? But not being out of communication even if you're not present.
Right.
So communication now is so much easier than it
Yeah.
ever used to be.
FaceTime, even phone call, whatever, So when I'm not able to be here around mom or dad when dad was passing away, I would call every day, just checking in, letting them know I am thinking about you. I do love you, and, asking what are your needs? What is this? What is, what's going on? How can I help from a distance?
Mm-hmm.
Can I, sometimes I would send money. Sometimes, I would send, things through Amazon that would help them, or,
Mm-hmm.
I just tried to look for something,
Or
some
food,
way, or
Uber,
food.
Uber Eats,
Yeah,
or
I
those
couldn't
type
do
of
Uber
things.
here. I
Well,
don't even think Trevor knows what Uber is.
when they were in
When they were in
Amarillo
Amarillo,
at the
yeah.
hospital, yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine an Uber driving from Amarillo down here? How expensive that would be?
You know, we play just for physical exertion a little. We play disc golf and we play pickleball. Okay, and we would have to closest disc golf to here is 40 miles away, and the not that you could play in this wind anyway, but the
Yeah.
closest pickleball to here is at least an hour and a half away
Yeah, in Amarillo.
in Amarillo. There's nothing to do here but smell feedlots. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
So,
one of those things. So it's
yeah.
sending Uber Eats. There's nothing.
Yes. But I just tried to look for things like that ways that I could show them that I am thinking about them. I am supporting them. I am trying to help them and take care of them when I wasn't able to be here physically.
Right. So, but then that's communication,
Hmm.
and it's present and not present. I think is important, and it's
Right.
easier than ever to do that.
When I was here, for instance, like when when they told us that, like his lung capacity was, they said under 20%, there's no help for him. It's the end stages. And so when we knew he was down to that area or that level, we made a trip out here, scheduled a week out here, and we helped him paint. One of the things he wanted done for mom in case he passed away was he wanted the house painted and he wanted some things fixed. So,
Yeah,
we came out here, we helped do that, painted that house in the middle of August.
it was hot.
Whew. It gets hot here in the
It was
Panhandle.
104 here yesterday.
Yeah, it was. And so, but so we did that, but then also part of what we did, because you're talking about communication, is that we sat down at the table and we talked to them about, okay, this is coming. Let's prepare for it now when our emotions aren't raw, you know.
Right. And so that was actually the second thing I was going to,
Okay.
communication and preparation. So go ahead.
So I just sat down with dad and I'm like, okay, we need to plan out, how do you want your funeral? Where do you want it? Who do you want to do what? Let's write your obituary out right now while we're in a
Right.
good frame of mind that we can remember things, and so it's non-emotional. And then we saved it, we filed it.
Also, things, and we have a little form that we do, and we might just post that on. Can we post that up on Facebook or something?
Yeah,
On our
I'm sure we
Facebook?
can.
So we have a little form. I did this when I was pastoring. We made up a form for end of life information, and it has all those kind of questions, but also it has the questions about, like, do you have insurance, life insurance? Where's the policy
Mm-hmm.
information?
Who's it with? Who's it through?
Who's it
Where's
with?
their phone
Numbers, and you can
numbers?
put all that on there. um, a will, where's it located?
Yeah.
All these type of questions that you might have when someone passes away. I've seen so many
The funeral
people.
home asks all these questions like, do they have a will? Do they have a life insurance? What's
Right,
their policy number? What's this? So
right,
if you have it, it was so awesome when Dad passed because we had everything. We didn't have to, in our sorrow, have to try to remember or come up with things, or
right.
we just went to a file. I just pulled it out and said, here, I handed it to the funeral director and said, here, this is what he wants, and this is how we want it done. This is the obituary. They didn't even have to ask us any questions after that. So it was so nice. We could just be together as a family and grieve and not have to think of all of that stuff.
Right. Because it is, especially at the time like that, you're not thinking fully clearly,
No.
and so forth. So it definitely is a preparation
Yeah.
time that helps. And also it puts them at ease because they know that they're not going to be a burden on you.
Yeah. Things are taken care of.
Everything's in order. Yeah. And I think that was, for your dad especially, that was a big
Yeah.
issue, knowing that his his wife, he's not going to be a bigger burden than what it already is to lose a spouse, obviously.
Right.
But I think that is a huge thing. The preparations, I mean, a lot of people, like, for instance, my parents, they've purchased, and I know your parents had purchased their own funeral plots where they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
buried. That's nice to have settled, so you don't have to try and figure that out.
Right.
So it's something that, if it's already done, you can have a knowledge of where that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
My parents actually recently purchased funeral plots. They called me and they're like, "We just want you to know we've purchased our funeral." I'm like, "When is the funeral?" Anyway, we have a morbid sense of humor in our family,
Yeah,
so
they do.
anyway.
We've already got them in the nursing home. So.
Yeah, we already put them in the nursing home. Anyway, so when the preparation happens, it also helps that they're involved in it, so you don't have to wonder what would they
Right.
like here or there, what was their favorite song, and kind of guess. Because I've been in a lot of those situations where everyone, they kind of guess the same song, basically,
Right.
Rock of Ages or Amazing Grace or something like that.
Right.
And that might be true, but
Yeah.
it might not be also.
It wasn't for my dad.
No.
My dad liked Little As Much When God Is In It.
Yeah, that
and
was his
then
favorite song.
there was another one. I think, was it oh man. It's the same one my mom has. I just wrote it down the other day.
3 years ago for
Yeah.
that, but
Anyway, but so there was another one, and it was different. It wasn't what the normal,
yeah,
people think.
because your parents aren't normal.
No. Whose parents
That's where
are?
you get it. That's where you get it from. They're
Wow.
not normal.
No, I grew up in the Panhandle. Nobody's normal out here.
That's fair. That's fair. So, all right. So you've got, how can you help them? Communication, preparation, and then beyond that, there is the comforting.
Yeah.
That you give, right? Yeah. That you're there and comforting, and I think that comfort is one of those interesting things that has a difference for different people. Not everyone perceives comfort in the same way.
No.
Because I think for some people, comfort is reading scripture together, praying together,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome, and probably part of any believer's comfort time.
Sure.
And I think that that's a good positive thing. But you're not gonna, especially if you're in a situation like where there's an uncertainty, which generally there is an uncertainty of time frame. How long is this going to be? It's maybe weeks, maybe months of time frame,
Yeah.
and you don't want to lose hope too early in that sense. For instance, you're careful when you're comforting, you're not coming in like they just found out they have stage 4 cancer, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. The doctors have said they're going to die within 11 months, you know.
Right.
So I was just weeping and mourning and wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
And so that takes away any
Hope.
hope of what God could do in the
Right.
meantime, right?
Right.
And so you want to be careful not to take away hope, even if it's a short term diagnosis.
Sure.
So, but at the same time, comfort, praying together, praying for God's will, praying for God's help during times like that, and the comfort of His Spirit for them, the strength that they need, the doctors to have wisdom, and those that are caregivers to have wisdom, but also praying for potentially God's healing, knowing that God can intervene if He chooses to, right? That He may or may not, but He could, and so we believe that He's able during times like that to do so, and so praying to that end. And there does come a place in this whole process where you pray instead of maybe for God's healing, for God's compassion to take them before,
Sure.
So they don't continue to suffer. Maybe when it's clear that God's chosen not to heal them,
right,
that you don't want them to continue suffering, so to pray for that.
Sure.
And sometimes God does allow people to suffer in the end of their life, and I've had a lot of times people ask me about, well, why would God allow people to suffer? And I can't answer that in a direct way in this to say, well, because X, Y, and Z. But I do know this, that God has a purpose for everything. I believe in the purpose of God. I believe in the goodness of God, that even when we suffer, there is a good purpose that God has in it. And I don't know what that purpose is, right? I couldn't present or presume to know everything God knows. And so having that trust that God is good and that God does have a purpose helps me even when it seems like there's suffering that I wouldn't want for them.
Sure. I think also part of that is just listening to them. One of the things Dad did a lot towards the end was just talk about different things that happened in his life and stories. And I've heard them all like numerous times, but just letting him talk, letting him share them again, that's something.
Reminiscing is a comforting thing.
Mm-hmm. So just listening to them. One of the things, like, even like when Brother Hayes was towards the end of his life, I remember just going in and sitting down in his office or wherever we're at church or at his house, and he just telling stories and jokes, because that he was a jokester, and just listening to them. I'd heard them thousands of times, but just listening and acting like it was the first time I was hearing them, because that's what he liked. He liked the response, and things like that. So just listening to them, letting them share their life, share their experiences.
Well, and there are things that you find out at the end that maybe they didn't ever speak about before, history-wise, like their history, the family history, those type of things. It's good to maybe have a way to record some of that.
Yeah.
Also, not necessarily audio, but write it down at minimum.
Right.
Maybe audio. Those are not bad things, but having that history is a valuable thing also, because a lot of history is lost because it's never been shared, communicated. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely that aspect of it. So listening, I think, is underrated overall in relationships.
Of course, yeah.
Because that's probably one of the biggest marriage conflict issues that we see is a lack of listening.
Listening to understand.
Right. Because there's a difference in hearing and
right.
When the Bible says hear, it means to listen and to comprehend, to process it, right? Hear, O Israel. It doesn't mean in one ear out the other, right? It just it's listen and and comprehend, understand it, and look toward how can you implement it. And listening is a way that you say I love you without the words.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
listen to them. They feel heard.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of it. A huge part of feeling loved is feeling heard.
Right.
And by the way, that's true for men and women. And a lot of times women will say that, but men will feel that deeply as well,
Mm-hmm.
that they don't feel heard in conversations, that they're always talked over, or and that goes both ways.
Disregarded.
Right? They're what they're saying is disregarded because it doesn't fit the emotions of their spouse in the moment, and so listening and hearing properly is a big part of communicating love. So at the end, when someone's in time of crisis, when they're in times like this, end of life type stages, listening is a way that you communicate I love you in a deep and meaningful way to the individual. They feel heard. They feel express that they've been able to express themselves, and that's a big part.
Huge,
that's huge, yeah. In that regard, so
yeah.
Okay, so we talked about three things there. Then we've talked about something, and then preparation, and then listening. My brain's not going back that far. But then then how else can you help? And I think one of those ways is distraction.
Yeah.
So like distraction comes in a lot of ways. It might come through humor, telling jokes.
Yeah.
Not everybody's a joke teller.
No.
But distraction, I tend to tell a lot of jokes
especially in the hospital,
when there's lots of stress. Like the more stress, the more jokes.
Yeah. And they come quickly.
They do. Yeah. And it's not like jokes as in two guys walked into a restaurant. I mean, it's more like on the moment.
In the moment. Yeah.
Humor, that type of stuff. But humor is a way to alleviate stress, right? And so when you're talking about stressful times, distraction in that fashion and seeing a lighter side of this situation, or and to a point. I don't mean being disrespectful,
right, or going too far,
too extreme,
too much, or whatever. Right. So
I always know how far is too far.
Right after you pass it.
That was too far. Oh, right, okay. But
it's a family trait, by the way. Like the kids picked it up too.
Oh yeah, bad. So anyway, but having that distraction, it could be. It just does alleviate a little of the pressure and the stress. So it's not just humor, though. It might be games. I don't like playing board games. I think there's a reason they're called board. Like card games, board games.
He hates it.
I don't like it. I don't know. People obviously love board games because there's aisles full of them at the store. Everyone talks about, oh yeah, we played this game, we played that game. I have played many, many games because Angela enjoys playing board games. And
because I want to win.
I know, but it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't for him.
Even if I win, like last night, I forgot how to play. No, you did not.
Yes, we did.
No, you did not. No, you did not. You blocked me every time you could. You're a liar. You're lying liar.
You totally started the game off cheating.
But we fixed it. I didn't cheat. Okay, so I hadn't played Skip-Bo in a long time, and she deals me all these cards, and I'm like, okay, so I wonder what I have.
So he picks them up, he starts looking at them and sorting them, and I'm like, you can't do that.
So she took them and put them back in the deck, and reshuffled, and gave me different cards. So I didn't cheat.
No, right.
I didn't. I was thinking...
You would have lost if you had that original hand.
I was thinking 10 cards is a lot to have in a hand, but okay, and so I start sorting. What are you doing? And then I couldn't remember that you just go, the colors are different. So I'm sitting there thinking, man, I haven't had a red, one or two here at all. I'm thinking colors go with colors. And so her mom plays.
I should have just let him think
the next color, and I'm like, oh, you can just keep playing the different colors. I literally hadn't played in that long. How long has it been since I played Skip
Since
Mode?
my dad was alive.
No, I don't think I even played during
Yeah,
that.
we played when we were down here.
Did we?
Yeah.
So that was
But
more
still.
than 3 years ago. But
That's so funny.
that's how much I don't like playing board games. I forget the rules and how to play them, and part of that's on purpose. I just do not want to think about it. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Lots of people love
Weird.
board games, but I don't. I don't love them at all. I don't care for them in any fashion.
Yeah,
So
I know.
my son Seth does, though. Angela and Seth love playing games like that.
Yes.
He was constantly, when he was
Because sometimes I can win.
Can we play? Can we play? Can we play? Anyway, the point is, I didn't remember how to play last night, and I still won.
Whatever. Distractions. So we're talking about distractions.
One time we went over to a family's house, and they played, what was it called? Rummy Cube?
Okay, yeah.
And he was like, we got to play this game because I'm going to beat Pastor. And so the first game he showed us was, he just taught us how to play. And then I won 3 times in a row. And he's like, I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah, he never asked us to play
He
again.
never asked us to play again, which I'm fine with because I'm not like, I don't care to play.
One of the funniest stories, though, about talking about distractions was we had gone through a huge major split in 2012.
Yeah.
Very stressful.
We talked about that before.
Yes, all of us were like really struggling. And one day after church on the way home, we're all just like quiet, you know, because you go to church and it's where all of this happened. And so on the way home, you're just really considering, and you're down and you're just in your mind, you know. And Eternity, she leans forward and she goes, Mom, Dad, I heard this song. I think it would really minister to us. I think it would really help us. So she played the song for us. And it was the most hilarious worldly song you've ever heard in your life.
Worldly, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
not
not worldly music, but the lyrics were just so stinking hilarious. And it was like, it distracted us from the moment.
The song was I'm Praying for You, but it was about this guy who's like,
who broke
I didn't know what to do, so I went to the church and I asked the preacher what to do, and he said I should pray for you. So I pray that your brakes go out running down a hill. I pray
like all of these terrible things
falls from a windowsill and knocks you in the head like I'd like to. And I'm praying for you.
Yeah. And so we're like listening to this song and we're all like dying laughing, and we're like, yes, that's how we feel. You know,
it was just funny in the moment.
Yeah, it was just a simple thing that distracted us from our hurt feelings at the moment, you know. And it was like, wait, we can laugh.
Nothing will help you more than being carnal. You know,
we can laugh. We can have joy. We can. Wait a minute. You know, it kind of distracted us.
It was a distraction
where we were at. You know.
Yeah.
So, and then it just kind of became a joke in our family after that. But it was just like, it was just that little thing, that one little thing, you know, in the moment.
Yeah, and that helps with family and situations like that. Also, just the distraction, playing the game, telling a funny story, making a joke,
something you know silly.
Yeah, and sometimes a show or something like that, something that gets the mind off of the immediate problem.
Yeah,
and it kind of just alleviates the pressure,
the moment. Yeah,
right.
And that's what we needed, and sometimes that's all your family needs in that moment. So
right. So it's not like it's here's 10 Bible principles or something as to how to help in the moment. And I think that those are good. I think if someone has, they found some 10 Bible principles to help in the moment, I think that's good. But I think also you have to be real in the moments, right? Too. And so we talk about spiritual things when we're in those situations. We talk about scripture and just principles from the word and so forth. But then also it can't be just nonstop Bible reading and prayer, right?
Right.
And because there's too much time there, and it's just that flow, I guess you might say, of the process is, I think, part of it.
The house is shaking.
The flow of the wind. So anyway, I don't know. I hope that these thoughts have been helpful to folks, and we're going through this right now. It's something, and one of the things I like to do in our podcast is to talk about things we're actually experiencing in the moment, because I think in the moment there's things you think of and
Sure.
know that are not things you necessarily think of outside of that time frame. So, is there anything else that you think you want to share, or that thoughts there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, sorry, that's it. That's all you get today. So, anyway, let's remember this, to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And also remember to make comments and so forth, if you would. And next podcast, we'll share the results of the survey that Angela did. And then we'll hopefully be back with, I think we'll be in Oklahoma next week, if everything holds to course.
We'll see.
Doing a conference there in Oklahoma, and in a couple weeks we have our national conference. So anyway, hopefully we'll have a good visit next time on a new topic, and one less personal and emotional than this one. All right.
Yeah.
So
I was trying not to cry.
But therapeutic for us as well. God bless.